Are you one of those people who think they're completely immune against mind control and brainwashing? Well, then you should stay tuned as we get real with Yvonne. What we're going to talk about today is actually an experiment that was conducted by the CIA. As you may know, that the CIA in the 50s, in the beginning of the Cold War, they were experimenting with mind control because they were looking for a way to influence the counterparty, which is the Russians, because they were afraid that they themselves were actually working on a tool, on a poison, whatever it is, on a drug to control people's mind, in this case, the Americans' mind. So the CIA was conducting experiments. They were doing a lot of things that we can go into in other videos because I'm fascinated by the topic. But for today, I just want to show you how if you think you're immune to all these things, you might be wrong. And trust me, I wish for you to be immune, but we're all humans, we're all psychologically driven human beings, living beings, I want to say, and we can be influenced. So this experiment was made with 18 people, and they were all put in a room, and 17 of them were CIA agents. So they were in on the experiment that was being conducted. What then happened was the 18th person was actually someone from the street, right? They just picked that person up. They were like, "Are you open to participate?" And when they were completely unaware that the 17 people were CIA agents, they thought that also these people were just people from the street, right? They were dressed in that way. It just felt like a randomly composed group where 18 individuals came together to be helpful to whoever was said to be doing that research. So in the middle of the room, as the experiment started, in the middle of the room, they put a image of a triangle. And then one by one, the people were asked to go into the middle of the room, look at the picture, and say out loud what they were seeing. So this started, and of course, at first round, the CIA agents that were in on the experiments one-on-one went to the middle, looked at the picture, and said, "I'm seeing a square." One by one, for 17 times, it was said that in the middle was laying a square. When it came to the 18th person, well, guess what? In most cases, that person wasn't strong enough to keep on believing their own eyes, to keep on believing what they saw, and they went with sort of the control by the group pressure kicking in, right? You don't want to be exposed. You don't want to be the dummy going, "I see something that no one else is seeing." So you distrust your mind and you go, "I must be wrong. I must be wrong to see what I'm seeing. Everybody else seems to be intelligent, seems to be human, seems to be normal, seem to be in their right mind, and they're saying they're seeing a square. So I'm gonna say I see a square too." Even though, of course, they realize I'm seeing a triangle. Like, it's a dilemma, right? You get there, you see the triangle, and you're like, "What is this?" Like everyone else saw a square. So this is the experiment, and that is what you should be aware of, that you could be that one person. And if I'm bringing up this experiment, it's not for nothing. It's not just to, make a video and, what should I talk about today? No, it's not about that. It's about you becoming aware of your, not sensitivity, but of your sensitive point, sort of your Achilles heel, if we want. So you're not invulnerable. You're not above everyone else. You're not all powerful. You're not more than anyone else. You can be as intelligent, as smart, as educated as you want. You are influenced because you are driven by the same psychological needs like as everyone else. You want to be accepted, you want to be loved, want to be treated with love, you want to belong, you want to have acknowledgement for you being valid, for you existing, for you being amazing and wonderful for who you are. You want to be loved for who you are. So it's very, very tough for you, or for you to expect of yourself to always go against the group, or to go against the group, because everyone in that experiment, speaking before that one person, like the test subject, if we want, built up pressure for the test subject then to align, to go to get in line, basically, right? And to repeat what he was hearing before, because he wants to belong, he wants to be accepted. All these things I said, that's psychologically how we operate as human beings, right? So there's a saying where many times when we speak about spirituality, we speak about physical experiments like this one, or this is not physical, but I mean, there are like physics experiments from physics that are being done, and there's people saying, I only believe what I see, right? I don't believe what you tell me. I don't believe what you try to make me think. I only believe what I see. I only believe my own eyes. So this is an occasion where that's not true. The person did not believe their own eyes. They doubted. They doubted what they saw right in front of them. So in reality, there is no objective reality. There is only what your mind interprets in that situation as it being, the least dangerous thing for yourself. Okay, you see something, but you don't trust your mind, you don't trust your opinion, because you know that there's other powers and other, how do I phrase that? Like other leverages in this situation that you sort of need to respect, which is the psychological ones. So this shows how weak the mind is, how weak we are as a person, how weak of a character we become, or we sort of have, once it's about group pressure, when it's about someone telling you to think a certain way, to feel a certain way, to act a certain way, to get in line, otherwise you look dumb. Like in this experiment, the result was you looking dumb, right? Imagine it was actually a square. Well, it's not a square, but imagine you the only one not being able to differentiate a square from a triangle, right? So the price you're paying is everyone is going to think I'm dumb if I'm not going to now say it's a triangle, which is a very small price to pay. But in this setting, because you don't know the other people, because you know you're participating in a trial, like in an experiment, it's sort of a test situation. Also, you're gonna fold, right? You're gonna bend. You're gonna be okay. I'm gonna adapt. To the price of me having a different truth than everyone else. I'm not going to take that risk and speak up for my truth. I'm just going to go along with everyone else. In reality, like in the real world, where it's not an experiment, where it's not about just proving a point or making a study to then, be used by the CIA. Like, we're not going to get into context anymore than this. But in the real world, the price is higher. The price you pay is much higher if you don't stand by your truth. Because if a number of people, let's say they do this experiment with 1 million people, right? But always separating individually one person at a time, and they sort of brainwash them into going with the group. But it's done on a large scale. So 18 million people, or whatever I said before, a lot of people lose their trust in themselves, and they lose to have faith in what they see and what they hear and what they sense, that this is real, that it's their truth, that they have a right to stand by it, and they fold, and they're broken, right? They're broken I'm not saying they're broken psychologically, but they're broken in their will to stand up even against a group, against the majority and all that. And that's how you get to control people overall. So if this is happening in the real world out there, and we had scenarios where it was happening exactly like that, where facts were just repeated, repeated, repeated. Oh, that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. And it's happening now as we speak, right? With the different wars that are happening. A certain narrative is being repeated over and over and over and over. And if you doubt that, or if you go against that, you're actually weak. You're cancelled, you're shut up by whoever, right? It depends what sort of position you have in society. It depends if you have a key position, then you're just let go of your job. Or if you have a smaller position, maybe you are allowed, you somehow get by with thinking differently. But in general, if you have a different idea and opinion than the one that's being dictated through mass media and through the school system and through wherever you basically turn, you're canceled. You're being painted as the crazy person. But fortunately, more and more people are waking up and are starting to see the light that that's what's actually happening. We're all in a big experiment where they're actually all, well, they're all showing us a triangle and keep on telling us that it's a square, and they're all waiting for us to go, okay, amen. It's a triangle, it's a square, sorry, where we all go, amen, it's a square, you're all right. Yes, we're buying into your square story. We all see it's a triangle, but of course, for the sake of our peace, we're going to buy into the square story. So this is happening on a larger scale nowadays, and I want this to stop. That's why I'm making this video, to sort of wake you up, shake you gently from your little sleep where you're like, oh, everyone is well and everyone is good and everyone has good intentions. The state has, and world leaders do, and the Secret Service does, and they're all for us and they're all cheering for us, and let's get in line. No, no, no. I want you to be critically thinking. Wake up. This is a gentle wake-up call. As you wake up, please subscribe to my channel. Most viewers are not subscribed yet, so please subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. It helps me a lot. I'm basically starting from scratch, something completely new, so I appreciate your support. Comment, what other videos do you want to see? Do you have ideas? What's your opinion on what I just shared? I look forward to seeing you. Binge watch my other videos. Maybe you're into Twin Flames, check them out. Otherwise, I see you in my next video. Thank you so much, and I say goodbye until soon. Bye.